I've been a big kid, a big teenager, a big adult, and I finally got tired of it and decided that I would see Dr. Malladi. Best thing I ever did in my entire life. I love Dr. Malladi. She is the best doctor. She has got the fantastic bedside manner. I felt like I was her only patient, even though I knew that she had a lot of patients, but she just makes you feel like you're very important.
When I first went to see her, I went into her office and was in the waiting room, and there was a display with, was it D magazine? I can't remember which magazine it was, but it had an article on her. And Dr. Malladi's resume is quite impressive. She went to UT Southwestern, graduated first in her class. She went from there to USC for her residency. And I may get this wrong, but I think it's right. But I believe she went to USC for her residency, and she was there for some 7 years. And then she got a fellowship in laparoscopic micro surgery techniques at, I'm going to say Northwestern, and spent a couple of years there. Reading that before I met her definitely kind of, there is no doubt that when you're first going in to talk to somebody who is potentially going to be carving on you, you want to know as much as you can about them. And so that definitely sort of calmed the nerves a little bit. And then Dr. Malladi is just, she's wonderful. She's a wonderful person. She definitely cares very much about her patient's outcome. The fact that she will not just perform this procedure on anyone who has gastroesophageal reflux issues, because there can be many things that are causing it, or it may cause other things that the procedure is not the best for. That does point to the fact that she's methodical and that she wants the best for the patient. So she's quite an impressive doctor, certainly an impressive surgeon.
Dr. Malladi's bedside manner is awesome. She's very detailed, she's very precise, she's very kind, and she is very interested in you, not just as a patient, but as a person. And trust me, I got a lot of health issues, so I deal with a lot of specialists, a lot of doctors, and she's at the top of the list. There's no question about that. She is at the very top of the list. Her bedside manners are the best. Her care is not pretentious, it's real, it's genuine. I look forward to when I go to see her, and I want to lose the weight because I want her to be proud of her helping me. She's helped save my life, man, and I owe her, so she's great.
My first impression when I met Dr. Malladi was, wow, she's really young. And that's okay, because anybody who's younger than me is really young. And yet at the same time, I don't realize that I'm getting older, so that makes a lot more people really young now than what used to be. But I was very impressed with her thoroughness, with the detail that she went into, with her and her office staffs, how they worked through and said, okay, here's all the hoops you got to jump through, and here's the order we need to do, here's how we can find things. And even though they were in the middle of a move, so their records were halfway here, halfway there, and things like that, yet they continued to work with me throughout that time. They helped me find a registered dietitian up in the north part of Dallas, even though she was moving down south of downtown to Methodist. So their staff was, her and her staff were wonderful. They're very professional, very organized. I was very impressed with the facility that she works with at Methodist and the patient training they do there. My wife is a registered nurse. She went with me to all of my appointments, needless to say, and she had out her magnifying glass. And after the first visit with Dr. Malladi, she said, she's good. And that said a lot to me right there, because one of the things I've learned in doing things is that if you really want to know what a doctor's like, listen to the nurses, not necessarily the ones that they work for, but the nurses who work with those physicians, because they find out real quick the ones that really know what they're doing, the ones that really have their act together, and the ones that are just doing the very best they can, but really don't have that organizational or that patient touch. And the fact that my wife was able to say she's good, that spoke volumes to me, because she doesn't always say that about all of the physicians I've seen.
Dr. Malladi, I just can't say enough good things about her. She is a genuine person. She's a very caring person. I wish that she was just a regular MD so I could just go to her, anytime. But I think she's fantastic. If somebody said, we were going to shoot you if you do not say something negative about her, I'd have to go, shoot me, because I can't. The experience I've had with her, I had no problems whatsoever, no complications, nothing.
The last visit I came in, I went to see her and I was having a 24-hour bug. I was my 1 year post visit. I was supposed, I'd lost all this weight. I was looking good. She went over all the labs and things like that. Well, it was supposed to be a 20-minute appointment. By the time we went through history and things like that, it was approaching 40 to 45 minutes. To get 40 or 45 minutes of a surgeon's time is not just rare, it's like, and I hate to think what it meant for all the other patients she had to see that day, but she took the time to deal with me with the needs that I had at that time, to follow up, to say, okay, here's some options I want to explore, but I don't want to push this on you, so let's go through all of these things. Let's see, okay, we need to think about this and this and this and this and this, and then call me tomorrow and tell me where things stand and how you're feeling, and let's follow up in a week, and if it's still going on, then we have some other alternatives. So that patient touch says she took the time to listen what was going on with me, not to have her own agenda and to have me check off her checklist. Instead, she checked my checklist. Secondly, more importantly, she listened. Lots of doctors get so busy, they don't really, you could say, oh, and the moon is green, and they would say, oh, really, and keep on going, and they would never hear what you had to say. She listened to what I had to say. And I know she did because she responded to what I was saying. And she had some concerns whether the GI symptoms I were having, was that a sign maybe of some of the surgery that was not working right or things like that. And so she said, well, we don't really know. Let's give this some time, see if this keeps happening over and over again, then maybe we need to do some more testing and things like that. If the other thing, you just have a 24-hour bug and it goes away in a couple of days, then we know that you're all right. It was just a 24-hour bug. And so she didn't panic. And I was a little panicky at that point in time, because I saw everything that had happened to me unraveling and having to undo the surgery and gaining all the weight and going back to the way I was, and that would have been a miserable situation. So that patient touch that Dr. Malladi had, she's thorough, she pays attention to what's going on with the patient, and she invests the time in her patients, and that I valued very much.
I have nothing but good to say about Dr. Malladi. And, if I don't believe in somebody, you couldn't pay me enough money to say something good. And besides that, my face tells. I mean, I couldn't lie, not because I'm such a great person. I think I am, but because you can see it in my face, and I think she's awesome. And I have some overweight friends, and I've told them about Dr. Malladi. In fact, this morning as I was coming in, someone was at my house, and I was telling them that I was coming here, and I said, you ought to check into this, because she wants to. And I said, here, let me give you Dr. Malladi's number.
Right now I'm at a point in my life, man, where my life is beautiful, it's awesome, and it's all due to Dr. Malladi being used by God to get me back to where I need to be. And I'm totally satisfied. So is my wife, and so are my kids.
I have not regretted it one single moment. I am so happy I had it done. I'm even happier that I found Dr. Malladi.
I would have no doubt about recommending Dr. Malladi to anybody who was wanting to explore some type of weight loss surgery. She has a number of tools at her at disposal. She has a great support team. She's able to look at takes the time to look at each patient individually to say, this is what's best for you. And then she also gives you your homework to say, okay, this is what I think. Now you go figure this out. Here's some other people to talk to. So you're not just in there with one person dictating, here's what you're going to do and here's what I'm going to do. Instead, it becomes a decision that she involves a whole team in to educate you, to support you, and to see that you're able to do and be successful in that. And that to me is, that if I was going to sum up what I received from Dr. Malladi, it was I received wonderful treatment, I received a great support team, and I received a new life.